Giannis Antetokounmpo will finally be traded from the Milwaukee Bucks.
Right.
I promise you this time it's going to happen. And the reason why I feel so confident in saying this is because this season has been a complete dumpster fire for Milwaukee. An organization that has been filled with a bunch of drama and storylines from start to finish, from the Cam Thomas situation with him being waived from the team after just weeks removed from signing with the organization, to rumors about Doc Rivers potentially retiring from coaching, and even in the beginning of the season with the whole Miles Turner situation with him waiving Damian Lillard and Miles Turner not getting the contract from Indiana, so he joined a rival, and then he had a weird cringe moment, him closing the chapter on Indiana. It was a lot. Cringe. But at the center of it all,
that was cringy.
Of course, as we all know, is another underwhelming, uneventful, and quite frankly, wasteful season in one of the greatest players I've ever seen in my life, and that's Giannis Antetokounmpo. As the 31-year-old only logged in 36 games this season, and depending on who's telling the story,
36.
Someone is preventing him from playing even more games to end this year off, but we'll talk about that later on. But when it's all said and done, Milwaukee will more than likely finish the season bottom 5 on both sides of the floor. As I record this video, they have a record of 31-48, and if they continue down this path, not only will this be the 4th consecutive season without seeing Giannis participate in a deep postseason run, but in a much larger picture, this will be the worst record that this franchise has seen since Giannis' rookie season, and this will be the first time that the Bucks will be selecting in the lottery.
So yeah, I definitely think it's a possibility for Giannis. Well, not even possible. I think it's highly likely that Giannis gets traded. When I ask to where, I feel like that is a very loaded question, because I honestly feel like the way Giannis plays, he can almost fit anywhere. When I look at the Western Conference, which is what make most sense to send him, if I'm the Bucks, I'm trying to send him out west. I don't want to keep him on the East Coast. I want to send him out west. So the Lakers, I can see the Lakers making a push. People don't want to talk about it, bro. But I can see the Thunder. The Thunder, if the Thunder add Giannis, what are we talking about here? Like, what are we really talking about if the Thunder add Giannis? They have assets. They got draft picks. They got young guys. They got bench players. You know what I'm saying? Do you maybe throw Chet in there? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. I don't see a place where Giannis can't go other than like some garbage-ass team. But looking at the Western Conference from 1 through 10, you got the Thunder, the Spurs, the Nuggets, the Lakers, the Rockets, the Timberwolves, the Suns, the Clippers, the Trailblazers, and the Warriors. The only place I can see him not going is the Trailblazers. Other than that, the Warriors with Steph, that's a possibility in my opinion. They probably get rid of Draymond. The Clippers, possibility in my opinion. The Suns, him and Devin Booker, that's a possibility. The Timberwolves, him and Anthony Edwards. The Rockets, we don't want to talk about that. The Rockets got assets. The Lakers, obviously. The Nuggets, him and Joker, I don't even want to talk about that. And then the Spurs, I think if he gets on the Spurs, bro, I think wherever Giannis goes is going to be crazy. If he goes to a top team, they instantly contenders, and depending on what team, him on the Pistons. Think about him on the Pistons. Let's say he stays out east. Him on the Pistons. I can't dismiss that. Him on the Celtics. Him on the Knicks. Right? Him on the Cavs. I don't know if the Hawks will be the best fit. They already got a lot of slashers. Him on the Raptors, I wouldn't put it past. Him and Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes. I mean, what are we talking about with that? The 76ers, if they want to move on from Joel Embiid, I can see it. If not, no, I can't see that. The Magic, him and Paolo, I can see that working. The Hornets, him and LaMelo, I can see that working. Like, the Heat don't really have anybody, but the Pacers, Halliburton coming back. So it's a lot of possibilities, bro. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those players where like anybody that can get him will try to get him.
Since 2016, effectively jump-starting the rebuilding process of the new era out in Milwaukee. And no, Giannis will not be a part of it. Because in a new article that Shams just dropped, not only is there a lot of truths being revealed with some of the rumors that we were hearing early on this season, but also even more drama towards the middle and tail end of this year that is effectively concluded that either Giannis is going to sign an extension, which it seems as if like he's not willing to, or he will be traded. And I'm not just saying that. It literally says that word for word in the article, because the front office knows that they cannot continue to go down this path of playing the back and forth game on if Giannis wants to go or stay, because they know how damaging it will be if they keep him for another season.
Giannis has been wanting to go. I think he just doesn't want to be the bad guy. He wants to kind of like make not everybody happy, but he don't want to do them wrong. I think he want to just do everything the most respectful and best way. I'm sure he got love for Milwaukee as a city. He don't want to let the city down. He don't want to let the fans down. He probably don't want to pick up and move. His brother's on the team. He probably don't really want to go, but I think he wants to win and compete more than he wants to stay loyal and stay comfortable with his brothers and all that type of stuff. So
with next year being the last guaranteed year left on his contract, so they really have no other choice. But before I get too ahead of myself and start revealing some of the more damaging information that is released recently, because it seems as if like Giannis in the front office, they're just not on the same page on what exactly has transpired towards the tail end of this year and his availability, or at least it seems as if like he is available but still doesn't want to play. It's all awkward and weird. And quite frankly, it seems as if like Giannis is just trying to find an excuse to leave the team without him coming across as the bad guy. But we'll talk about that a little later. I first want to go through quickly what's happened throughout this season, because in this article, it not only confirms a lot of rumors, but also lets us in a little bit more with some of the dysfunction that's been going on in Milwaukee. First, the whole thing about Giannis being traded to the Knicks in the offseason that we talked about early on, and many of you all said that I'm just yapping, and Giannis comes out and he says he actually doesn't want to be traded, all the other nonsense. It got confirmed. Giannis, without a doubt, was looking to get traded to the New York Knicks. It actually says, as plain as day, in the article that either they were going to figure out in Milwaukee and he was going to stay with the Bucks, or he was going to get traded to the Knicks. It says it as plain as day.
Now, in response
to effectively Giannis giving the front office an ultimatum, they decided to make some moves. The biggest one being obviously waiving Damian Lillard's contract, stretching it out as much as they can, which then gave them enough wiggle room to go after Miles Turner and add him on the team. They then came back to him and said, hey, we're going to do a little bit of convincing here. This is what we can do. This is the addition that we made. What do you think about this? And effectively, Giannis was still conflicted, but unfortunately, as we saw in previous reports, basically Giannis waited way too long into the offseason when he started to make these demands, and so there really wasn't that much wiggle room with what the Knicks could potentially do or not do to acquire him. So effectively, whatever the Knicks were going to offer at that point in time wasn't enough to convince the Bucks to actually trade for him, and potentially Giannis didn't like the transaction either, so he just stayed in Milwaukee. He was convinced to stay in Milwaukee, and they sucked. It didn't really matter. They started off the season, they were still struggling, and Giannis, quite frankly, was playing some of the best basketball early on this year, but
that nigga called for the ball to throw
struggling, and Giannis, quite frankly, was playing some of the best basketball early on this year, but they were still losing. And while all this is happening, be very mindful, Giannis is in the media gaslighting people. One week it's, I don't know, it would be nice if I did stay, but who knows if I'm going to stay? You never really know. Then the next it was, I'm here for the long haul. I'm here. I'm a Buck. I'm always going to stay in Milwaukee. But now in this article, it's revealed that Giannis still was basically putting pressure on the front office to get a deal done because he did not want to be in Milwaukee. And because of this,
I think he wants to be in Milwaukee. I think the Bucks just aren't doing shit. Think about, like, bro, he barely won that championship. That wasn't supposed to really happen like that. And then, okay, let's say it did happen. Great. Giannis carried them. He had a great finals performance. They won a championship. Great. All fine and dandy. And then y'all didn't improve the team. I think the next year they let go of Drew Holiday. He ended up on the Celtics or somewhere. I think he's on the Trailblazers now. I think like the next year they traded away Drew Holiday. Chris Middleton never really been the same like that. They didn't make no upgrades. They didn't try to go get a point guard. And then a minute after that, they went and got Damian Lillard, which kind of worked, but then Dame got injured. I think Giannis just realized like they've maximized their efforts.
Timberwolves,
like, it ain't nothing else
Golden State Warriors, and the Miami Heat, they start picking up the phone and they start making calls. They try to figure out, hey, what is it going to take for us to get Giannis? Unfortunately, however, those three teams really didn't have a package that was good enough to convince the Bucks to trade Giannis to those organizations.
He should have did it.
We know, the Golden State Warriors, they were trying to trade Kuminga. Everybody knows that. Then when it came to Minnesota, from what I know from a very reliable source, basically Minnesota was just throwing around the Rob Rob Dillingham piece because, he's a young player that could show some upside. Yeah. And then obviously a Julius Randle contract as well to kind of match things. But then you also had to move Rudy Gobert. And so from what I understand, there was just way too many moving parts to kind of get that job done. Because effectively they're
Giannis is literally Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert. Like he could do what both of them do. Like we don't need y'all niggas. Bye.
And there was just way too many moving parts to kind of get that job done because effectively there needed to be a third team and potentially move both Randall and Rudy Gobert because how much money Giannis was making. So it just didn't make any sense and they couldn't get the job done. And that right there was also pushed to potentially the offseason. But the much bigger picture that the Bucks wanted to receive was not only a young prospect, but also a bunch of draft capital as well. And so in the pursuit to get the deal done, bro, they were making calls as well, calling the Cleveland Cavaliers for Evan Mobley, calling the Philadelphia 76ers for VJ Edgecombe. And this is all in the article as well.
VJ,
but effectively still couldn't get the job done. The closest.
If I give up VJ, I'm giving up Embiid. And some people might not know, might not feel the same way, but I feel like I don't think the 76ers would be crazy to try to give up on Embiid. You know what I'm saying? Get his ass out of here because I feel like you got Tyrese Maxey. Now you got VJ. It's some pieces over there, bro. It's some pieces over there. And Tyrese Maxey, I feel like he's too much of a star for him to not have somebody like Giannis or somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because shit, Tyrese Maxey gonna get to the point where he tired of that shit too. He ain't finna keep losing and being an 8th, 9th seed and getting bounced out in the first round. Tyrese Maxey's too much of a star to be doing that. In Philly, like, no, he bring his ass over here to Chicago. We'll take him.
They got to actually pulling off a deal with shipping Giannis over to Miami. And in return, they were going to receive Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, and a bunch of draft picks. However, the front office in Milwaukee felt like that just wasn't enough. And they believed that even if they go into the offseason, they were going to receive a very similar package anyway.
That wasn't enough, but you got to Milwaukee needs to understand that you're not in the power position right now, bro. Everybody knows Giannis doesn't want to be there no more, and that's what's really hurting you the most. You know what I'm saying? So Giannis not want to be there is the fucking reason why nobody, you know what I'm saying? That's the reason why people is trying to get lowball you. Ain't about to give you no extra. What the fuck, nigga? Are you crazy?
So they weren't really rushing it. So the trade deadline came and went, and Giannis still stayed with the Bucks. But it needs to be clear because a lot of people in a lot of the videos I was producing early on this season, they swore up and down that Giannis, he didn't really want to trade, that he was saying that he wanted to stay, even though everyone, including myself, I'm telling you all, I had a very, very credible source that was straight up telling me that Giannis wanted to be traded. That was the only reason why I was hell-bent on getting Giannis out of Milwaukee, because I was told, effectively, a lot of things that were reported in this article from Shams, that Giannis was still pushing a lot of buttons for him to get traded. It's just that there wasn't a legitimate offer on the table, even though I do believe that Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, and a bunch of draft capital from Miami, I do believe that's a legitimate type of deal, but it just wasn't there. So in pursuit to potentially just keep Giannis and continue to persuade him that Milwaukee is the team that he needs to stay on, in the article, it openly talks about how the Bucks were also trying to make other additions and other upgrades to the roster, even to the point where they were slightly looking at a Ryan Rollins for John Morant type of a trade, but still decided to keep Ryan Rollins and stick with their guns, possibly because of the availability concerns with John Morant and also him just being a really bad fit next to Giannis. Regardless, though,
John Morant probably be out of there this
and
year,
they made some additions. I do like Ousmane Dieng and a couple of other pieces that they brought to this team, but effectively it was a roster that was still vastly incomplete and trying to find their way throughout an 82-game season while effectively still not having Giannis for a good portion of it as well. So all of those things were really, really complicated, but it just gets a lot worse. In the article, it starts to report how Doc Rivers, after a really bad loss against the Brooklyn Nets, he had a team meeting and sat down and told the team, look, man, check my resume. I'm a Hall of Fame coach. I done really coached up some teams to get into the playoffs and the championships that were not expected to be that good. And I thought this team was going to be that team as well. But it ain't me. It's y'all. Y'all need to step up to the plate. And in the pursuit of criticizing these players, he starts calling out Kyle Kuzma. He starts calling out KPJ. He starts calling out Ryan Rollins. But the rest of the team is like, nah, we not doing that. We not doing that. We not at all. So after the team meeting, they had a players only meeting. And in that players only meeting, Kyle Kuzma, the vet that he is, he pulled both Ryan Rollins and KPJ aside and like, look, man, Doc is tripping. Don't even worry about that. Y'all do y'all thing. We just trying to survive.
Doc is such an overrated coach. Like, I don't even know how that man still has a job in the league. Like, I wouldn't hire his motherfucking ass. I'll go take chances on an assistant from college before I know. Hell no. I would go get a former player. I'll fucking hire Chris Paul. Somebody. I'll hire somebody before I could hire Doc Rivers. He is not proven to do a damn thing. You got one championship with a super team. Nigga, I could have got a championship with a super team. KG, post their ass up, play that defense, boy. Ray Allen, run around, get the ball, shoot it. Rondo, get them two niggas the ball. Pierce, ISO, get everybody ass out the way, let them score. Go, break. Anybody could have got a fucking ring with that. That don't make you didn't do nothing. And ever since then, you've been ass. You got the most three. We ain't even finna talk. That's a whole nother video. Doc Rivers, that shit's a whole nother video.
5 this season.
Doc Rivers ain't saying nothing.
The coaching staff then learns what Kyle Kuzma said, which I don't know how that's even possible, but they learned what he said in this player-only meeting, and then they gave him a DMP. They literally sat him the very next game. Crazy. How all of this is being revealed, I don't necessarily know. In the article, however, it says that 6 players, 6 of them, confirmed this meeting, confirmed what Doc Rivers said, confirmed the meeting, and even confirmed how KPJ and Ryan were getting criticized. All this stuff was confirmed by 6 players on this team. Crazy. Just ridiculous. Before I continue, Doc, come on, dog. We got to be serious. I don't know how this happens, but literally every single time something goes wrong with a team that you coach, moments like these tend to always happen. And I get what Doc was trying to do, trying to coach up his players, right? Hold the young players accountable. Yeah. Like, we need you all to be good because we turned down a John Morant trade for you, Ryan. We need you to be good because we're trying to keep Giannis on this team. We need y'all to be good for us to really have any legitimate chance of winning and going deep into the postseason, because this is it. This is the roster. But sitting there and telling them, Google me, Google you, come on, bro. And what team are you talking about that you led to playoff success that they weren't expected to reach? I don't understand what that is. I don't know. Maybe.
Who are you talking about? You coached a super team in Boston. Where'd he go after that? I know he was in Philly. You had Joel Embiid, Jimmy Butler, and fucking and Maxey and shit. You was at the Clippers with Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, Jamal Crawford. Like, what, bro? You had Lou Williams. Like, what are you talking about, bro? You've never had a bad team until now. The fuck is he saying?
2010 because the Cavs were a 60-plus win team and they were the number 1 seed. I don't know. Maybe that's what you're talking about. But all the other teams, you basically got them as far as many people thought they were going to, and probably underachieved with a lot of those teams. Not even probably. You without a doubt did.
Definitely
Regardless, though, all that happens. Kuzma gets a DMP, which then kind of leads up to where we are right now. Be very mindful as well. Again, a bunch of other drama happening. Taurean Prince missing majority of the season. Cam Thomas again getting waived off the team. Like, it's a bunch of things that's happening in the midst of all of this losing and behind the scenes drama. But the most recent stuff that's happening is very, very damning. For those who are unaware, like I said earlier, Giannis has missed a lot of games this season, dealing with a calf injury, some ankle problems as well. But the most recent one is that he hyperextended his knee, and it seemed to have been reported initially as a bone bruise against the Indiana Pacers. At this point, like in the middle of March. Fast forward to where we are today, and Giannis believes that he's fine. He's cleared to go. He wants to play basketball games.
Yeah.
But allegedly, he's saying that the only reason why he's not is because the Milwaukee Bucks, they are preventing him from playing games. They won't medically clear him. And so he basically suggested to the league, hey, you all need to investigate this. He got so involved, so caught up in trying to make the Bucks seem like the bad guys that he effectively snitched on them and said, yo, y'all need to figure out what's going on over here because I'm healthy. I'm ready to play. Don't say that I'm not able to play. I'm ready to play and I want to play. And he went as far as to try to...
He probably want to play with his brothers. This is what I think. If I'm Giannis it seems like a very nice guy. And I'm a pretty nice guy too, but I ain't that damn nice. If I'm Giannis, bro, I am forcing my hand. If I'm Giannis, I'm coming out. I'm sitting here looking. I'm talking to all my agents. We all getting around. We all coming up with ideas. All right, what team we gonna go to? And whatever team we decide, boy, I'm getting my ass right on Instagram, Twitter, calling whoever I gotta call. Hey, I want to go to the Thunder, so I'm not re-signing with nobody else. So trade me to the Thunder. Hey, I want to go to New York, so I'm not re-signing with nobody. Trade me. Like, I'll pick the best team at the end of the season, and I'll tell the Bucks straight up, like, if y'all don't trade me here, I'll come out on Twitter. If I don't go to the Warriors to play with Steph, or if I don't go to OKC to play with Shea, or wherever he want to go, if I don't go here, I'm not re-signing with them, and after the season, I'm just going to leave and go to wherever I want to go. So y'all might as well trade me there. Nobody else, y'all shouldn't trade me. So what's that going to do? That's going to make all the other teams not want to trade for him. And that's going to make the Bucks have to trade him to wherever he say he want to go because that's going to be the only team that want him. That's what I would do. I'm not finna sit here and play pity pat with y'all ass, but